I don't know why I'm laughing, Clyde. It's been an awful long time, and I missed you. So, welcome to the program. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Mark Goldberg, and this is Mark Blogs Watches. How are you, Clydesy?
Not too bad. I've had a lot of people asking if you've disinherited me.
No, neither did I disinherit you, nor I would like to deny a very strong rumor that you and I ran away with the Timepiece guy and are now, living somewhere.
Oh God, I'm so sick of that. I am. Oh, by the way, you look really good. You look well.
Well, I thank you. I'm feeling good. Things are great. As people are funneling into the room, we will greet them. We will talk about where we've been, what we've been doing. I think the punters don't fully realize that you and I are in regular contact. Nothing bad happened. We just get busy.
I don't know. I don't think it's as regular as it used to be, quite frankly.
You're not regular?
No.
Fiber. I recommend fiber.
No, we're not as regular.
Well, I'm extremely regular, Clyde. I've really never had that problem. But if you're referring to YouTube,
no, actually, if we're going to talk about that problem, no, it's not since getting the virus. I swear to God, 3 times a day.
You had the opposite problem there for a while. Clyde had to be careful that he didn't put himself into an overly stressful situation without a change of clothes handy. So let's greet the gentleman. Paul M., thank you for joining us. Clam Walker, oh shiz, Valen Graymoon with his first and fist. David B., Herb Maynard, the General. And Clam says, hey mates, love the bookmark. Well, thank you very much. I think you are referring to the new one, The Art of Training Your Dog. So you might, Amazon's got it on a great sale. So Yankee Doodle, holy guacamole. Timepiece Anthony has the Russian mob after him. Actually, Joey, you kind of look like you're a member of the Yakuza, there. A tough-looking guy. Herb Maynard, he was thinking about us, and here we are. Well, Clyde, do you think there's any possibility that Herb kind of summoned us from the dead?
Well, I don't know. Did he say Beetlejuice 3 times or not?
I watched that movie not all that long ago. How's the Gold Submariner doing? Well, today I am wearing the 43 millimeter Sea Dweller, but the gold is good. I still have it, and I'm a little selective where I watch it. Clyde, you've got what's your gold piece, Clydesy?
I've got a gold Longines. I have a gold Minerva. Actually, I don't know. What's your platinum piece, Mark?
I don't have a platinum piece.
No.
I did try on I tried on the platinum day date. Platinum day dates have a smooth bezel, not that fluted bezel. Yep. And this was the one with the light blue waffle, if I can say blue waffle, a light blue waffle dial. It was magnificent, but the weight of it was absolutely nuts.
Well, I wonder, did they eat blue waffles in Star Wars along with the blue milk?
It really makes me wonder why, Aldi Mal, Piguet, and Rolex would come out with blue waffle dials, because it seems a little provocative. Clyde, guess what I've got here? Valen Graymoon reminded me. Now,
nice.
I want you to know that I've preserved it. It's quite clean, not dusty. I would rub it for old time's sake, but I really should have done that before.
Yep.
Before you came up. I know better than to rub it now, because if I do, you'll disappear. So, we're not going to be rubbing it. So, well, the first question I have for you, and gentlemen, we will be looking for you to add content, questions, and commentary. We will be monitoring the comments, so please leave some. Otherwise,
can I also just put out one thing? Can we just skip the Timepiece, gentlemen? I'm so sick of that. I'm sick to death of that already. I don't care. I honestly don't care about any of them.
Well, look, we're not going to talk about it a whole lot, because honestly, I don't know him or much about him. But the publicity stunt, I've heard that. I'm not buying that at all. I mean, listen, publicity stunts are designed to build name recognition and it's sort of like a rebellious, chaotic, anarchy way of building the business. Okay, if you want to build your business, what you don't do is appear to have set up a Ponzi scheme, allegedly set up a Ponzi scheme. That's what you don't do, because that scares all business away, right? So,
and as we know, a Ponzi scheme is where you attempt to jump a shark with a motorcycle. Exactly.
So I would say of all the conspiracy theories, that are out there, that's like the dumbest one of all. I'm not buying that for a second. But anyway, a lot of people have wondered, where were we? What happened? Did something, bad happen to either one of us? Are we fighting? What are we fighting, Clyde?
No, actually, you have to talk to each other to fight.
But we do a couple few.
Not really as much as it used to be. If I can bitch a little bit, but I'm trying to be understanding, because here's what's happening. Can you hold up your book again?
Have you lost that loving feeling, Clyde? Is that what you're trying?
A little bit, just a tiny bit. Here's the why, guys, and people are also talking about the fact that Mark's not on the channel that much. Guys, the art of training your dog is actually selling quite well. Mark is getting a lot of publicity. He's got a lot of notoriety.
Well,
and his dog training business. Yeah, Mark is working. He actually has a job.
Yeah, like a lot. And and what's going on is, we're like, I'm constantly busy. I'm training the dogs that are here in the kennel, and I'm fielding phone calls. My business partner helps me a lot with that, but he fields some of them. I field the rest. But I'm like, the portion that I do, sometimes it's 10, 15 phone calls or texts or emails in a day, where I got to communicate with the people. And then there's contracts and stuff to send out for the next round of people that are coming. It's got me like really busy. Plus it's like 10,000 degrees out there. So, okay, as an Oklahoman, I know you know this, but I'm also in the baking Midwest. So it's really hot. And then, go walk 10,000 steps outside. I just like, when I'm done, I can't even bear the thought of firing up the community. I'm exhausted. Oh, and I'm doing Zooms. I'm doing dog training consultations for other dog trainers who want to build their business, and for dog owners who want to get control over their cute little monsters. And so my Zoom, I have one or two of them a day, almost every single day. And then, the idea of sitting in front of the camera, like, again, for fun, just hasn't. Yeah.
Well, you see, when you told me that the kennel was filled, I kind of assumed that's because Vingtonier couldn't travel over from Canada and occasionally like he used to.
I haven't seen Jen in, I haven't seen anybody, in over a year now. I myself am double jabbed. Clydes, I know that you are double jabbed.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, woo woo! Did you hear about the news about that?
The news about what?
Well, they say if you had Moderna or Pfizer, they're saying so far studies are saying not only do they think it's effective against Delta, but they also think it might be effective a lot longer than they previously thought.
Yeah, I read that, and as a free bonus, you're unlikely to get pregnant. Sadly, you cannot stick your car keys to your forehead. But
right. However, if you had it beforehand and got both, they're saying unless a variant comes along and that is the vaccine doesn't handle. They're basically saying it appears that literally lifetime.
Well, that would be lovely if it's true. I mean, listen, I guess I'm one of these people who thinks everybody should vaccinate on the one hand. On the other hand, I understand that there are people who either can't for, whatever their reason is. Sometimes it's immune suppressant reasons. And other people won't. And I don't think that any of you should be forced to do it, but I can tell you that it's given me like enormous peace of mind. It's really helped me on that level psychologically. It's just been helpful. And also too, Clyde, like I have a very dear friend. She's a great dog trainer, 70 years old. Pretty much an anti-vaxxer since way before, for the last 30 years. And she almost died of COVID. I went and picked her up from the hospital when she was released a week later. And it was just sad to see her so weakened, but she's picked up immunity, and let's hope it is as good as the immunity that she would have gotten out of the vaccine. But oh my God, it almost killed her. So what can you do? People have their opinions, and they're not going to change. And hey, guys, I'm respectful. Blue shirt, Buddha, Clyde, would you send Blue Shirt the link, please?
Okay. I don't know how many other times where I've wanted to, but never mind. Okay, sure, I'll send it.
See what happens. Maybe he can come. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for joining us. Now I know we didn't, really schedule this or anything, but the reality.
Well, on the other hand, we haven't scheduled it. We are putting zero effort into it.
Yeah.
So actually, the precedent for this has been well established.
Oh, well, now you're talking about Archie, and I do have news. I will talk to you a little bit about Archie in a moment. Let's get Blue Shirt on first, though. I might need a little moral support for this one, but the reality of it is, Clyde, we never prepared, for anything. And the machine says is holy shit, Mark. It's good to see you. Wondering how you were doing. Well, we are fine. We kind of explained that we never deliberately fell off of YouTube. Weirdly, my subscriptions, Clyde, I think my subscriptions have gone up since I stopped making videos a couple months ago. And I turned around and I crested 22,000, by not making videos. And then what happened was, I've gone over that now. So I think the fellas like me better when I'm not doing anything. Did you get a sermon, Clyde? I know you're on the waiting list. I know the answer, I think, but let's tell that too.
No one's got one. Even freaking tutors. Even tutors.
It's very disturbing how, like, when the Ceramic came out, every AD got like 2 or 3 of them, and then that was the last of them they ever saw.
Yep.
So both of us got put like on a waiting list for that, and we were excited because the AD cranked a couple out to more important people than you and I, and then
they cranked one out.
Yes.
Never mind. Go ahead.
But then the drought hit, like instantaneously, and now there's like zero inventory, and here we are.
By the way, for at least the last couple of weeks, it's been like overcast or sprinkling. It in like 72, 73 degrees. We've become the new Seattle for some reason.
Oh my God! Here it's been like we're the opposite. It's been like intensive thunderstorms. I was sitting in my car at a stop sign, about 8 o'clock at night, and right across the street from me was a gas station, and lightning. I mean, it was like maybe 100 feet from me, and lightning hit the roof of that gas station. Sparks went flying off of it, and then of course the bang was almost instantaneous from the thunder. It was like really scary. I was pretty glad that that it didn't hit like the pumps or something. So, Blue Shirt Buddha, hello there. How are you, my friend?
Mark Goldberg. I'm good. How are you? Hey, Rancher.
Hey.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Blue Shirt.
My pleasure.
I'm glad that you're here, and I have a small confession to make. But before I do that, Herb Maynard asks, any word on your Daytona? And the answer is yes and no. I'm still in the game, so that's a good.
The answer is you'll have to subscribe and be a Patreon user. No, I'm just kidding.
They now have not only like you could do Patreon, but you could do like a membership to your channel, and then the content creator gets to say how many dollars a month it is, right, for people to join. Honest to God, maybe some of my favorite YouTubers are doing it, but I don't have the balls to charge you guys for this. I mean, this should be free. As a matter of fact, Clyde and myself should compensate you for your time that we're wasting right now. I'm not
actually no, but the thing, we have exciting news. Actually, Mark is going to drastically redo his kennel, but he needs people to help assist him with that. For every person that assists, that contributes, 2,000. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
What I'm really trying to do, Clyde, is I'm trying to build a kennel big and strong enough to hold a Minotaur. And they get very angry and irascible. So you need a really strong like cave-like structure for a Minotaur. So here's the thing: the ADs are almost not seeing any Daytonas, let alone the Panda. They're just not hardly seeing any. My AD hasn't told me how many they have received at their stores. but I know it's either none or very, very few. And I know that they like me. What?
Sorry, tattoo.
What do you?
Sorry, it's just
That's too long. AC3 talk. Okay, well, we'll give you some.
The plane.
Yeah, we'll give you some AC3 talk. Give me a minute, and we'll get there. But anyway, the reality is that I don't know how long it's going to take. I just figure eventually it's gonna show up, and then my AD will work with me one watch at a time. Mm-hmm. But the way inventory is running, what's happening with inventory, man? You're plugged into the industry. What is happening?
There's none.
Now,
getting literally drips and drabs, and that's it.
Are you talking about Rolex or from the other maison or houses as well?
It's mainly Rolex. They're the worst, but there's very little inventory coming in.
Now, Clyde, do you think that just is that a result of COVID alone, or their strategy, or some mixture there? Because this should be affecting all watchmakers around the world, but yet you can get a Seamaster.
No, it's wait. You think it's only affecting Rolex?
Well,
where the hell have you been?
Okay, I've been on sabbatical, but look, you can get a Seamaster. Why can't you get a Submariner? What's going on with that?
Prices for everything has gone up. Availability, every watch has become noticeably harder. If it has any sort of notice in the public eye, it's become a lot harder to get. Like literally anything. Now,
see, if the ADs were getting inventory and people were just like sucking them out of there right away because they were desirable, because they sell at a premium, that I would understand. Blue Shirt tells us they're not even getting inventory of Rolex.
Nope.
Yep.
So, so the problem is either manufacturing and supply or strategy or some combination of those two. Now, I know that the Rolex factory was closed down for like 6 weeks, but
they're Swiss. Remember that. They're Swiss.
You're referring to the cheese, there's holes in the system or?
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, on the other hand, what do you think about the Tudor, the Black Bay 58 bronze with the bronze bracelet?
Well, no one's going to ever see one of those. I mean, I think it's
because you got to go to a Tudor boutique, and there are none in the United States.
Well, there's that.
And Tudor hates America. That's why.
Well, they were gone from America for 7-8 years long time.
Oh, cool. Yankee Doodle bought a new Speedy. God bless, man. Congrats.
Well, you could still get an Omega, I got to say. Although the days of getting an Omega for in the low threes
are long gone. Long gone.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago that you could get a Speedy.
No, I got mine for just a little over 3.
Now, did you get it from Joma, or where'd you get it?
I got it from WatchMax, which is like Joma.
Yeah. With the big display box,
with the box and the whole 9 yards. Yep.
You know what? The Omega wood box, whether it's the Seamaster one or the big one for the Speedmaster, that puts the Rolex plastic green to.
Oh my God! It's not no comparison.
They're beautiful, those boxes,
but they're huge. And what do? You stick it in the closet.
I mean, basically, I think it could save you money on an urn after you cremate.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Random Rob is here.
So,
Random Rob, what's up, man?
How are you, Rob?
We weren't expecting you. It was completely, random.
Well, glad that you joined us, Rob. I don't know if you got time to join us on the link, but I'm going to give you the.
There you go.
I'm gonna text you the link anyway. Give me 1 second.
Yankee Doodle says he's Archie's ears and horns.
That he's what?
He's Archie's ears and horns.
Just in case you can, Rob. Okay, so let's just knock this out of the way. There was.
Did we cut him off?
Did we cut who off?
Never mind. Go ahead. Sorry, I was talking Blue Shirt.
We're just gonna knock this one out of the way. And Blue Shirt, I hope you won't be mad at me, but as you guys know, there was a falling out between myself and AC3, which kind of bled over into all the Cardinals, and that started, and that's why you now have a junior varsity there instead of a proper varsity team.
Right.
But and I was really angry for a long time. I don't want to rehash what Archie did. Let's just say it was vicious, vinyl, foul, and nasty. and it surprised me, which is.
And you're used to him being completely amoral. Yeah. And see, and let me kind of give you guys some background. Mark was his biggest proponent within our group.
By far.
Yeah.
So if you
Mark was always the one saying, "Come on," he really, he was the archie apologist until he pulled in what he did. Jesus Christ.
So I don't, like I said, I don't want to get too deep into it, but nonetheless, he offended me, and it just bled over into a giant civil war. And the result was, secession. We seceded from the Union. But the thing is that I'm really not all that good at holding a grudge. I'm just kind of like bad at that. And so over time, things softened up a little bit. And I had, I did some nasty things too, because he tried getting a hold of me on every social media platform that you could humanly imagine, and I just blocked him on everything. And then
how did you soften up when you were doing nasty things? Because for me, it usually has the opposite effect.
Well, you're a lawyer, Clyde. You could.
Okay.
You do know, Mark.
Yeah.
He loves you. You know this.
I do know this. So, okay. So to continue on with my story, he kept trying to tell me that, and I would just block him. And then finally, I blocked him everywhere, and he had no way of getting a hold of me. So then, this is so juvenile what I did. But then, like every couple or few months, I would unblock him for like 10 seconds, send him a nasty gram, and then block him. Because he never blocked me on anything. So I would just, say something horrible to him, and like, not even your children love you, And,
well, in his defense, that is probably correct.
Yeah, right. So at any rate, okay, what I did then fairly recently, like a few days ago, I unblocked him on WhatsApp, and I threw an olive branch out there, and he took it and told me he loved me. So yes. So I don't want to make more of it than that. I just want to say that we have agreed, that we have agreed that the divorce no longer needs to be so bitter and acrimonious. So.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
And that felt good because what I'm just I don't do really well with bitter. It's not my
no, it's not you. So
no, I mean it's definitely
hear that.
You know what? Actually, if my photo should really be in the middle between you and Clyde, because Clyde is bitter and acrimonious, and you're like sweet and kind to everybody, blue shirt, and I'm like right in the middle.
Right.
Anyway, so yes, I had a little sympathy for the devil. I did. I mean, he's a horrible, terrible person, but honestly, he's the guy who got me into watch videos. That I met you guys because of him, and so it's not not a total waste.
Well, he's not actually the devil. He just has horns like the devil.
Valen, the BB 58 925, which is the silver one, is a beauty. Been enjoying it for a month now.
Oh, congratulations, man!
Nice.
Yeah, I've yet to see one, and
I have actually.
To see it. Yeah.
Now, here's what I want to know: is it scratching up any more than a normal watch would? How is that going? I would think it would be scratching.
I'm not sure.
And I made a whole video on how Tudor tricks you into buying their watches by making them really scarce at first and then flooding the market. But obviously, that's not happening now.
No. I haven't gotten a 925, an 18K, a ceramic. So,
what's going to happen to the price?
Don't you wish your chrono was hot like me?
Yeah, and I only saw one of those, and that went. So.
Yeah. Well, you have that. You have the chrono, Clyde, don't you?
He does.
Yes.
And but do you still have it, Clyde? Because you know how you are.
I do have it. I do have it.
Well, okay, that brings me up to another point, which is like about selling Tudor and Rolex. Multiple times on the, we still have the WhatsApp group, guys. We just no longer call it the Cardinals. Okay, we call it the Varsity. Because we're not the junior varsity. We are the Varsity. We're not on the bench. We are we're the main show. So we still have the Varsity, Cardinals group. And every once in a while on there, I'll say something like, I'm going to sell this one, which is the Sea Dweller Red Line or the
right.
Hammer, and it's so uncomfortable. And when I do that, blue shirt, you start screaming and yelling. You turn on the all caps.
I do.
And what do you tell me?
Sell it. don't sell it. Don't sell it.
That's what he always says. And I've had many crises of confidence because, the prices of them are, bumping up. And
actually, do you know what the price? Price has really been bumping up. The rare birds.
Rare birds.
Rare birds.
Well, see, Clyde, this is why the reason I brought this up is because I think it's something similar is happening with that Tudor Chrono. And I think that's why I bet you any amount of money you would have gotten bored with it in a couple of weeks and it would have started to creep into your mind to flip it. But I think what's happening is now it's such an impossible thing to get that you're going to wind up keeping it. And I really think you should. I think if you sell it, you'll regret it. It's going to be really, really hard to replace. And I don't know when that's going to change, but probably not for a while.
Yeah.
But Blue Shirt, when is a decent time to sell a Rolex? It's not now, is it?
No.
Oh.
No.
Well. Was it a decent time to sell a Rolex?
Yeah.
No, this is the best time to sell a Rolex. This is the worst time to buy a Rolex.
Well, this is the time that it's impossible to buy a Rolex unless you're willing to spend 2, 3, 4 times retail. I'm
just afraid to sell because
on Chrono 24 for like my date, my 1530, the steel one. There's 2 examples listed. One is $27,000. The other one is $37,000.
Right.
Insane.
And your track record, Mark, is not. You sell one of those watches, and it's going to go through the freaking roof.
Yeah, that's exactly what
you're Okay, but holy shit! All right. Yeah, and people have said the Kermits and everything else. Do you know how many regrets I have about that? None.
Which one? The 2 Kermits.
Yeah, either one of them. No regrets.
Okay.
Did you get a fair price at the time you sold it? Yes, no. The answer is yes. Then yeah. For fuck's sake. Then yeah. Are you a collector, or are you just going to be another wannabe watch flipper or watch trader?
What's crazy is I was just looking on Chrono to see what's happening with I have a Tudor Black Bay Burgundy with the smiley face ETA movement.
Yep.
I don't think there's any.
Do you call it Ron?
Available for sale now. You can't even get them. There's one with an in-house movement up there for $3,700, but and I paid $2,500 for mine full set on a rebuy. And I'm sure it's up at least $1,500, from where I bought it. And that was a fairly common watch when it was manufactured.
Or on the other hand, like I said, my Rolex 1630, I think I got for $3,600. Now I think they're going for like $9,000 or $10,000. So, I'm all right.
There was a period of time where, for example, the old GMTs were trading at like $5,000.
Yep.
I mean, they were not popular.
Not anymore.
And there was times when you saved money by buying a used Rolex. You saved significant. You saved like 25 to 35%, I think, by buying a used Rolex. And now that's flip-flopped and it's the other way, depending on the watch. You might be, that if you only pay 25% more on the used market, you're happy.
But, I kind of hate to say it, but, like the Timepiece gentleman, you've got like, I don't know, how many people are in that organization? Like 10, 15, whatever. You think any of those people are working for free? No, they're not.
I think that the Timepiece gentleman has gone to an island where he can get finger tattoos.
No, what I'm saying is all these people that are up there, all these middlemen are the ones that are driving the prices up.
Well, that's easy to say. However, the market is going to support those prices. So
correct.
Is it the middleman or is it the consumer?
I might actually have to start putting some more miles on my car because, all right, I said I'm not going to tell. I hope they have disappeared because guess what? That means they're going to quit sucking up all the good Rolexes in Dallas.
No, well, that may be, but there's always going to be a demand for a product which is in short supply and seems like a safe bet. Actually, Blue Shirt, I'd be really interested also in your opinion on this one. I think that gold is the new steel, at least in Rolex, because the steel is so impossible to get.
Are you saying gold has become the new steel standard?
Yeah, more or less. Think about it. Isn't that funny, Clyde?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Before you go out and pay $20,000 for a Hulk.
We just got one in 22,000 for 2014.
I paid $9,000.
So are people actually buying them?
Yes, because this is the second one we had. We had one for 2018, and that sold for 22.
I paid $9,000 for my Hulk, and I bought a Batman secondhand for $7,500.
Yep.
Which I then sold for like 13, 14, because I didn't like it. But the but the sub I do like. The Hulk I love a lot. But what I'm saying is that before you're going to go pay $20,22 on the secondary market for a Hulk, there's a lot of people who just go, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to see if I can get a $36,000 gold from the AD.
Yeah.
It just puts it up in that territory.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you want to spend, 27, 30 plus thousand for Daytona, or, go spend that money and get a gold watch.
That's a really, really good point, because the ceramic Daytona.
It takes a lot of money to get this equipment together.
Correct.
It's about the passion. But look, those watches are running anywhere between $30,000 and $40,000. So actually, depending on which Daytona and its condition and box papers, etc., it might actually be cheaper, slightly cheaper, to buy a gold sub at the authorized dealer, if you can get one. And that's not easy anymore, because my AD has told me they can't keep gold in stock.
Right. Yeah. And maybe chip in a little bit more, maybe like another 10, and get a date.
Crazy.
No, I mean, the thing is, I actually know a few people that have been collecting for a while, and they're sitting out Rolex. They're like, nope. If they don't have enough capital or enough flex with the AD to be called, they're like, nope.
Well, what that does though is it pushes people into other, really interesting brands. I'm reading a lot lately on Fratello and Inky about your favorite brand, Parmigiani, right? And actually, Federico made a video. Apparently, he was gray marketeering a little bit of Parmigiani, and Parmigiani got mad, and they called up and gave them a piece of their Fleurier, which is, I think, stupid, right? Because it's a free market, and
they were furious.
Federico's, free to sell whatever he can acquire. So I thought,
exactly,
stupid phone call on the part of the Fleurier Parmigiani people. But the collector is then going to be pushed over to JLC and and other brands. But what that's going to do is, and I think it's going to put pressure on the pricing of those watches.
It's everything, literally everything. If it has any sort of recognition, not just with the general public, but even beyond that, even if it's something that's talked about within our ranks and within the ranks of the collector community, then all of a sudden it's just,
Is Rolex the new toilet paper? Are we hoarding them? Is that what's happening here?
I think a lot of people are.
Yeah.
I know I am, because honestly, I don't wear this watch very much, but I like it. The James Cameron, I also like it, but it's just like such a monster watch that it's not it's just an occasional wear. And I think once in a while about selling them, but then Blue Shirt, you yell at me, so I'm afraid to do it.
Good.
Well, and believe it or not, I still think vintage Omega Steel Sports is still the sweet spot.
Mm-hmm. So Yankee Doodle, I finally jumped on the bandwagon just for shits and giggles, and I opened a Coinbase, which is would be the most popular, and I'm playing a little bit with crypto. But what I'm doing with it is basically, it's like I use it for the kind of money that I might gamble with at a casino. It's like, for me. And it is really interesting because for those of you who've never done this before, but we're all hearing all that, it's traded and fluctuating 24 hours a day. So unlike the New York Stock Exchange, which closes at night, opens again in the morning, it's going, all day, all night long. And it fluctuates wildly. So you can open the app, look at your portfolio, move it down to get the little refresh, star going, and then when it refreshes, your portfolio is up or down, changed measurably. But what's fun for me about this is that it's just like fun money. But I keep getting these offers to get free crypto. If you watch a video, like somebody will start like a new one, and then they want to get it known, so you can watch some videos, and then it's like a multiple choice question, and then they'll, I've gotten as much as like $10 worth of free crypto from this one. I got about another $10 worth of free stuff, and I think probably by now I've got about like maybe $50 worth of various freebies.
Yeah.
Either of you guys do this?
No,
just me.
Just you.
Yeah, but like I think to myself, what if you had put, like $10 into Bitcoin when it was, 50 cents?
Right.
So that's why I take all these freebies. I don't know. The people who know a lot more about crypto are scary because
Craig Chip.
Does he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't. Well, he's definitely scary, but like, there's just a lot that I don't know. Guys, you know what? Here's another topic. Shifting gears for just a moment, since you brought up that name. I watch vloggers. I actually don't watch that much from the watch community anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I do have my favorite guys. So of course, I'm a fan of Blue Shirt. And Blue Shirt, what's your channel's name and when you brought
Watch Talk with the Punters, and we're currently alternating Saturdays at 5 p.m. Eastern.
And these guys, by the way, the watch punters, they do talk watches, and you run about an hour to an hour and a half, and you guys do research, and so it's really a horological, adventure. So, and then there's a few other guys who I really like Bruce Williams, who just does that beautiful photography. So
Random Rob,
and Random Rob. The problem with watching Random Rob, and I do have a problem with Random Rob. I have a problem with you, and the problem is everything that you promote, right? Or I guess that everything that you review, I want to buy it.
You too, huh?
Yes, it's such a problem. I mean, a little easier, okay, when I'm watching Watchbox and they're doing
Watchbox is the same thing.
Well,
the photography and then that nice little, it's English but classy English.
You mean Watchfinder?
Watchfinder, thank you.
Yeah, Watchfinder is just like amazing. But at least when those guys are showing the Zeitwerk minute repeater, I'm not tempted to go buy it. But then Rob will show some $600 watch, and he makes it look so cool. I've owned probably 3 different monsters that are Rob's fault.
Mm-hmm.
I currently own a Seiko Tuna, absolutely Rob's fault. Except for I really like that one. The others I all traded out of, and
I'm going to come out and say this. I know you're not going to like to hear this, Mother. I'm sorry, but I love Watch Art Sci. I think Bill.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. Look,
the brain might get on your fucking nerves. I understand that.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. I'm glad you mentioned that because he and I had personal beefs that really were just, like stupidly personal. But here's what I want to say. So let me just put the pause on this, and then we're going to loop right back to it in just a moment. What I was going to say is I'm not watching so many watch vloggers. I'm watching vloggers from other, expats from here and there, just other areas of interest that I have, right? And I noticed one thing that annoys me a whole lot is the vloggers, like if you get like expats in Japan, that's vlogging from the Philippines, for example. There's only like X number of them. I mean, there's plenty of them, just like there are watch guys, right? Mm-hmm. But they wind up having, alliances and feuds, just the way we do, just the way I've always had with Bill. But what I notice is, I find it as a consumer of the content of those channels, I find it really irritating. And somehow when they do it, and yet I see myself in them, okay? Because I've carried on feuds with this one and that one and the other one. And I realize, wow, I am doing exactly to my viewers what they are doing to me right now, which is nobody normal tunes in to watch fighting. Not so sure about this community. It could very well be that that's what brings them in. But in general, when they talk each other down, I find it irritating. So that for me has been a learning curve. And that's why, Bill and I never got along, but I don't need to carry on a feud with him, do I, Clyde?
I hope not.
Yeah,
but I have a lot of interest. Horologically, I think he adds a lot of value to the conversation.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I would have to go back to the Modern Day Watch Enthusiasts on Facebook, which is a really good group, which is run by my friend Dennis Van Patten, who is a horological. He's like the shadow knows. I mean, yeah. He is a shadow. He is a ghost of horology, past, present, and future. He knows all. He is mysterious. Very few have ever seen his face uncloaked. But a great guy, runs this amazing group. And for whatever reason, when Bill came into it, he just didn't like me, and he was real vocal about it. Actually, the same thing happened with what's his name, the Canadian Yukon Motel Jan. What's his name? Bear Clooney. And so
the Serbian.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's where my beef and his beef, that's where all that goes back to. But I realized, that by having like actual emotion about these silly things, it just feeds a fire that's irritating to the punters. So one of my sort of, I guess, what do you call it? Like a resolution. One of my not so New Year's resolutions is to just let go of all my beefs. If they don't like me, that's fine. But
you're a smart man.
Yeah, it's not good.
Life is too short. Life is too short.
Right? It's not good juju. Now, honestly, okay, I'm not nice.
It's too short. It's too short. Wait, are we talking about Tenzil?
I'm not as nice as you, Blue Shirt, but I think it's probably better if I try a little,
Well, it makes it easier for him to fit in the Porsches and Lamborghinis. I mean, let's be honest.
Well, Jeremy says MDW can be pointlessly aggressive about things, and that is one of the downsides, of any Facebook group, is it's easy to escalate things. And it's possible that because I was an OG admin and still am over there, that maybe that's why these new guys just, a couple of them took a dislike to me. That is entirely possible, But at the end of the day, whether it's with Archie or or Bear Clooney or Bill, it's fun to carry on a little bit of a rivalry. But when it like really penetrates into the consciousness of the watch, and Paul Thorpe, all those guys, when it penetrates, but it's just distracting from the main thing, which is entertainment. That's where we really should be.
Right. No doubt.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, I've been a couple of things I've been really going into, but one of which, there was a silent film star by the name of Louise Brooks.
Now, you were just graduating high school during the silent film.
Well did I am, mother.
What I'd like to know, Clyde, look, before we get into that, I want to know a lot more about this whole topic. Like, did they make popcorn over charcoal in those days, or how did they what's
you ask me, you come on, and you tell me to mind my manners, not be nasty, and then you try to provoke me. Try to provoke me.
All right, Clyde. So you and your musket and your squirrel went okay. Anyway, back to your commentary. This actress, yes.
Oh, I forgot what I was going to say now.
Okay, let me remind you. There was some actress from the silent movie days who.
Whatever.
Anybody remember what he said? Put it in the comments if you remember what the rancher said. Didn't mean to throw you off your game there, Clydesy. Rob,
you exactly meant to throw me off my game.
I was just playing with you. Go ahead, Clyde. Why don't you answer this one for Rob? What happened to Hisham?
Hisham is, like I said, his mother-in-law unfortunately died of the freaking virus.
Yeah.
The Delta got, and they're basically trying to survive over there. Shit ain't going down too well in India. So
it's tough, but they're starting to vaccinate, I think, millions per day now. But the problem is they got a population of like 1 billion, right? So
he posts almost every day in in our WhatsApp group, and you know, his other than his mother-in-law, you know, everybody's well, the baby's well, the wife is well, and he's, you know, pretty much keeping a positive attitude about things. So
exactly,
he's well, guys.
Yeah. So, and actually, you know what? We all are. It's a very weird thing. Certain businesses have been hurt badly by COVID, of course, like restaurants and bars, and clubs, stuff like that. But then there's other areas of the world which have gotten like actually, you know, weirdly busier. Dogs are certainly one. Everybody got a dog, and so now they're all, you know, trying to deal with the aftermath of all these dogs. So it's flooding dog trainers with business everywhere. Clyde, crime stopped, you know, in your neck of the woods, in the flyover states of Oklahoma, because everybody.
No. It didn't stop.
Yeah.
Enforcement. Thing stopped.
Okay, good point. So then the purge, after the purge was over,
no.
You know, are you in court, or are you doing?
That's why you have a good safe room, and you lock yourself in that night, and you don't come out for any circumstances whatsoever.
Now,
I mean,
are you? But are you doing court appearances in person, or is this?
Yeah, we're doing. It's starting to come back in person. Yeah.
What about Zoom? Because I know here a lot of the appearances are
some. It was, you know, juvenile. A lot of domestics were.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to get that in, but now they took away our governor basically withdrew the state of emergency because you know it was kind of really hurting the state finances. So that shit came down. However, the governor can't tell the judiciary how to run the courtrooms. So it's kind of up to each individual judge. So
now, when you're appearing on behalf of the defendant on a Zoom,
it's not really that much in tune with criminal offense. It's pretty much in real life.
Is that right? What about the?
Yeah. They actually still incarcerate people, believe it or not.
Nice. Well, what I wanted to ask is, you know, are you using, you know, your same? Are you using the same avatar, like, or are you using the Clyde's on your side, you know, logo? Or, you know, but apparently you're appearing in person, so no worries.
Well, you know, any avatar they could get me a benefit, I will use. But
there you go. That's nice. Yeah. Now, Blue Shirt.
Yes, sir.
Here's another question that I have for you. Let's say I'm a punter, and I'm somewhere in your market.
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
You're a punter.
And I'm somewhere in Blue Shirt's market, and I want to know if they have a particular watch, which they probably don't. Should I call or should I stop by?
If it's a Rolex, don't bother.
Either way, it doesn't matter.
Either way, yeah.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
How many calls a day do you think?
Hundreds.
A day.
Hundreds.
A day.
A day.
That's incredible. Wow.
And I get hundreds of people coming in every day.
Hundreds. And then for inventory that you don't have.
If you're inquiring about buying a Rolex, please hit 1. No.
That's what we should do, but we don't.
It's like instant dial tone. Is it irritating to have to be nice to so many people asking the same dumb question over and over again?
I mean, it's not irritating. It's just, you know, you wish you had something to tell them, but there's nothing to say. There's no inventory. We have 6 watches in inventory.
Yeah, that's incredible. Now, what are they calling? You're getting hundreds of calls per day. What are they calling for?
Sorry.
What are they calling for? What do they mostly want?
Steel sports. Steel sports. I
should have bought. Okay, I really like the Tiffany Blue OP41, and I was highly offended. This is just such a classic Rolex collector mistake. Classic. I couldn't get it out of the AD because they told me up until very recently they hadn't even seen one. Okay.
Right.
So, and my AD has 3 locations, and they hadn't even seen one. So that tells you the supply on those. It's like, you know, 0. And the retail MSRP on those.
There's like one
5,900.
Like one half a mile down the road from me.
who had one,
Yeah, it's the biggest Rolex AD in the state.
and they had an OP41.
Have one. Have one.
In what color?
The light blue.
Yeah, go buy that for me tomorrow, Clyde, and I will pay you plus a premium for your trouble.
No.
No. Really? Well, text me the name of this place when we're done, and maybe they'll let me. Maybe they'll mail order it for me, or maybe I'll fly in, buy you lunch, and pick it up. But I don't believe that they got one sitting in the case, willing to be sold to like Joe Average. It doesn't make any sense because they're nowhere, and I didn't want to pay it's a $5,900 watch that not all that long ago the premium was $12,000. And now Mackenzie tells me that premium is $19,000.
It's nuts. And Jeremy, it's not just New York City. It's everywhere. Nobody has any inventory. Nobody. It's worldwide.
Okay. So, Clyde, let me know if they really have one of those, because you just can't find them. And that's why I can't imagine that they really have one sitting there. But, if they do, I'm going to come visit you, Clyde, sooner than you think. Mark, have you seen one in the metal? They're not all that. In fact, quite underwhelming. I haven't, Jean-Claude Biver. I have not.
Let me see if I can have I think I took a picture of it.
Because I think they have it in 36 or 34 also, but I don't like those. Beat the 41.
Yeah.
I believe you. I would have to see one, but I would have confidence to buy it regardless of whether I fell out of love with it or didn't. I think that particular watch, it's all about the dial and the color.
Mm-hmm.
But really, they don't make a Rolex which isn't robust, right? Some of them feel a little more delicate, like especially the steel bezeled Daytonas feel a little delicate, but they're still robust.
Huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Wempy has the largest stock, and they've got maybe 10 ladies two-tone pieces.
Yeah.
I wish, if only I had scrawny little TGV wrists, I would go get one of those, because those are the only things that you can actually buy, these days. Good to see you too, A West. Well, boys, ask some questions in the comment section that we can answer for you. Ask the Rancher, ask Blue Shirt, ask Goldberg. Otherwise, we're going to be wrapping this up fairly shortly.
I was also texting Mackenzie about my latest espresso machine score, so he was actually quite enamored with it.
Clyde, you have a problem. Tell the people how many different machines you have to make coffee with.
Far fewer than watches.
Well, okay, that is true. You have a bigger problem.
And far cheaper than watches.
Yeah. Okay. Well, tell us not the purchase price of all your various machines, but if you were to add up the MSRP of all your coffee making mechanisms, is it over or under $10,000?
The one I picked up
in total.
No, the one I picked up a couple weeks ago was like the MSRP was like $5,200.
So the answer is over $10,000.
Well, yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah.
Blue Shirt, what is your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I was just going to answer him. It's called Watch Talk with the Punters.
There we go. And it's very good. It's very good. I mean, you put the rest of us to shame because you guys pick a theme, you stay on the theme, and you research the theme, and then you kind of share screens over to the internet to show the watches and discuss them. So it's a very, very good show.
Thank you.
James got a two-tone bluesy this week from the AD.
Congrats.
That's great.
Nice. Great watch.
I wear mine pretty much every day.
That is Blue Shirt's favorite. You can still find pieces around in Rhode Island. Well, that's pretty amazing. I have the full gold, and I think the steel.
So pretty.
Fool's gold?
It is gorgeous. But is it fool's gold? It might be fool's gold, because I think the two-tone with its outer links being steel is just far more wearable, right? So,
Yeah,
like with the gold one, you have to worry about it rubbing on your sweater even.
Right. But it's just so darn pretty.
People are picking up IWC and Panerai, for Pete's sake. The stuff that we used to walk by and just, holding
Well, because they want to
Wow.
see it, and there's nothing else to buy. You know, it's that is a tough thing. Any thoughts on the? Well, we kind
No.
No, I've never watched the 1 minute of
me either.
that, and I have no interest in it. So
But
I
what's
don't
the
care.
WC Spitfire Chrono? What is
It's a great watch, man. Spitfire Chrono. Congrats, A West. Good wrangling.
Yeah. Well, tell him to fire the JV and we'll make an appearance, or even if it's just one show. And we wish him, we wish him the best. I hope his children,
Absolutely.
Hope his children are okay. That's what you always got to worry about.
Mm.
It's like I had a friend who recently I had to go to a funeral.
Wait, you had a friend?
I did, and well, I'm more than one, Clay, but it was a very, very young man who died, from dosing, and it's such a awful, horrible, not funny thing to see a young man in his coffin, because of addiction and substance abuse. So you have people in your life that have that problem. You support them as best you can, but it really does make me feel for Archie, because it's terrifying. It's terrifying to love someone who has that affliction. The Hard Way says, my gray market dealer has come across two super fake.
The hard way.
If the fakes become more prevalent, Rolex could become even more expensive on the secondary market. They may become more expensive. So look, things like that, as well as when some of these YouTubers essentially formulate Ponzi schemes and then collapse, that pushes the consumer and also the collector to really well recognize highly reputable purveyors of watches, such as blue shirts, such as I don't think you usually name it blue shirts, so we won't. Yeah, so we're going to avoid that.
David SW.
Yes, or the Watchbox or Goldberg. These are places which you'll pay. If you want to go buy a watch from Bob's Watches, you're going to pay probably 10% more than you will if you buy it more carefully, if we can say that. But when you're buying from lesser known sources with less on the line in terms of reputation, you run risk, right? So I actually think these guys are worth, it's worth paying a little bit more. Or when you're selling a watch, it's worth taking a little bit less, because your risk of fraud is substantially lowered.
Right, because the risk of the person all of a sudden disappearing. Right. Sorry, we're not going to talk about that. Not going to talk about that. Yes. Yeah.
Well, sadly it happens. Time stands still. Has anyone seen the Black Bay silver in the flesh? Well, Blue has not. Clyde, you did, and we have one of the punters here in the Peanut Gallery owns one. I never did get an answer about if it scratches, but Clyde, what was your impression of the watch?
Lovely watch. And keep in mind, I just had literally the picked up the Panda chronograph, and I was like, ooh, I almost going to say, do you think I could? I was going to ask, do you think I could do a switcheroo? And basically said no. Actually, a judge just pulled it up, and I'm like, God damn it, it's Larry Castle.
So one of your local judges beat you to it. But honestly, I think you did very, very well with that chrono. I think that the Black Bays are out there in abundance. They're harder to get now. That's a kind of a special one. The bronze is going to be stupidly expensive. That's going to appear on eBay for like 25 grand soon, I think. But at the end of the day, the chrono, I think, is going to wind up collectible, Clyde. I think you did great. But
agreed.
Tell me this: does that Black Bay silver look markedly different than the steel? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. State of the watch market is crazy. If you want a platinum Daytona, you need to deal with a felon on YouTube. Well, I was saying I tried one on at my AD about a year ago, and it was incredible. I just don't know if I could wear it. My gold sub is heavy. It's heavier than this 43 millimeter Sea Dweller. It's heavier. And then the platinum is maybe a third heavier than the gold.
I tried on a platinum day date, and that thing is freaking heavy.
What's weird about that is that's the same watch that I tried on Blue Shirt. And what's strange about that is like you see something with your eyes, and having lived the next amount of time, you kind of have an expectation of what it's going to weigh based on, your previous experiences. But nothing prepares you for that watch in that metal. Like, it feels like something's like the laws of physics have been suspended when you pick that up. It seems
and nobody except you. You're the only one that knows what it is.
I would say, tell me if you agree. I didn't weigh it or anything, and I haven't looked up the weight of it, but I would say it pushes around 300 grams. Don't you think?
Yeah, it's got to be close to it.
And like my gold sub is around 200, 211 grams. So
it's considerably heavier than gold. Considerably.
The bronzy. Well, the bronze is only being sold, the Black Bay 58 in bronze. The most interesting thing about that, by the way, I don't think is the bronze. I think it's the clasp. It has it
does.
Clasp.
It has an adjustable clasp. Sort of, kind of like the.
I'm gonna go Clive stream. I'll be back in a second.
Okay, Clive. Blue Shirt. That clasp. Okay, it's not the Easy Link. It's not the Easy Link. Glide Lock. Right. It's sort of in between.
It's sort of in between. So, but it's Tudor being innovative, and hopefully that's going to translate over onto some of their other watches eventually.
A lot of people have been expecting the Pelagos clasp to spread, throughout the line.
True, and it hasn't. But that's very complicated because you got springs in there, and it's ingenious, but it's costly for Tudor, and it's labor intensive. Where this one for the bronze is much easier.
Also, too, I think that the nature of the Pelagos clasp, while really smart, is very, very, very industrial looking.
Yes,
it's far more like industrial looking than it is luxury looking. So I think,
well, it's like the Pelagos because it's a tool. It's a truly real tool diver's watch.
Yeah, I agree. So by the time they get into these more luxurious and more delicate 38 millimeter Black Bays, I think it might have been, a little bit out of place.
Overkill. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
But it's ingenious. It really is. And like Easy Link gives you, I think, a 4 millimeter adjustment. 5 millimeter, which is the equivalent of like a link. And Glide Lock, I think, gives you, on this
2 millimeter adjustments. Yeah, like
I think it was like grand total 20 millimeters of ability. That new clasp on the bronze is Tudor bronze is 8 millimeters, so it's like right in the middle. Like, and I think that's great. I almost have no tolerance anymore to wear a watch that doesn't have an adjustable on the fly clasp.
Once you guys, and I was like you, but until I got my bluesy.
You were like me, you were a homosexual Jewish dog trainer. I'm sorry. Keep going.
I find it hard now to wear a watch that doesn't have it. Yeah. This is the most comfortable bracelet, period.
All my other watches, from bygone eras, you grab a toothpick or a paper clip. It's way better to use a toothpick guy to shove it in the hole, play with a spring bar, because if you use a paper clip and you miss, you're going to scratch up the clasp, But then while you're sitting there, adjusting the thing, you have to hope the spring bar doesn't pop, and then you're on your hands and knees, like looking for the damn thing.
Exactly.
Which I'm sure has happened to all of us. Vintage Movado, only bargain left on the market. I'm not sure that's correct. If you listen, MDWE, Modern Day Watch Enthusiasts, and HudsonTime.com, can be a little savage, but I will tell you that Dennis is constantly coming up with the coolest JLC, and Gerard Perregaux. He's a real connoisseur, and GP has got some unbelievable watches from back in the day.
And the Rancher is coming up with semi-vintage Omega and some other more esoteric chronographs that are great values.
The Rancher always has a semi. Just remember that.
Clyde, how about that Moser?
The what?
The Moser NC. Do you still own it?
Actually, no. That is, I had a little light house clearing, and yeah.
I didn't know. Oh, see,
Didn't ask.
well, you don't. You rarely volunteer. You know what's come and gone.
Hey, look, if you've been in the military, you learn not to volunteer.
Well, remember the time that you dropped the house? All right, I know. What happened is the guy threw it at you the wrong way. I know that.
Right.
I love that story as much as I love Stickergate. So some of these stories just have to stay.
But you know what? Here's the nice thing about Stickergate.
Yeah, what's that?
I took part of the money.
Yeah, you got the rare bird.
Yep. So
Rare bird. Right?
Stickergate, happy times.
It wasn't a total loss. So the Moser and C went. I thought that was a truly lovely watch.
It is a truly lovely watch. Yes.
But the problem is, as collectors, sometimes we want to experience a thing, and then we want to experience the next thing, and you can't keep coughing up $10,000-$15,000. You have to recycle the money.
Right.
So a lot of times it's not about flipping for profit; it's about flipping to just regain.
Right. Like what I did with my Explorer and my Explorer 2, which I love both of those watches, and I enjoyed my time with them. But it got me the bluesy.
But Craig said, no, I disagree. Now, here's the thing, though. But a lot of the early Movados, very close. Very close to like Patek Philippe of the same era. Like we're talking about 50s and early 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Those have been relative bargains, though. I wonder if that's going to change. T-Fit is what that glide lock class.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chuda.
Let's see what else we got here. EDH Boulevard says, I'm wearing my 925 right now, and I love it. Danny, does it scratch, and does it have a different luster than the stainless steel? I believe it would look somewhat colder than stainless steel, but tell me if I'm right about that, and does it scratch?
I'm sure it scratches it,
Well, you would think, but like God knows what the alloy.
It's none of it. There's not really any polished surfaces, so that would help.
925 is like, I don't know. I don't remember what's the percentage. There's an alloy in there, and all it has to do is be 92.5%.
Right.
There's
some aluminum in there and some other things. And Time Stand Still is asking, do you think that they will come out with a 925 and a silver bracelet? And Tudor does not at present have plans to do that. Doesn't mean that they won't in the future, but they don't now.
I would bet anything that they're not going to do that unless they just make it another boutique special, because that's going to add so much cost. And not only that, but it would be soft, So I wouldn't expect to see that happening. Ed says that he hopes the T-Fit comes to the other Black Bays, and I would too. Yep. But I wouldn't hold my breath. I don't think it's going to happen anytime really fast. Yankee Doodle, what do you regret? He regrets the purchase, but I can't track back what it was that you all.
He bought a 35 millimeter 18K Longines.
Oh yeah. Well, the money, that's good money for what it is, but the 35 millimeter, that's like your grandfather's watch. Right. It's really amazing how those guys fought World War II. Wearing
a 30 millimeter watch.
Well, you know what? They were all 19, 20, 21 years old, right? And they could see that stuff. Like
No. I just no.
Whoa.
Stop the clock.
Yeah. Because I have one of those watches, okay?
As do I.
So, and number one, like the A11, of course, the watch that won World War II.
Yes.
So they didn't lumen up because it was meant to be read inside, cockpits.
Oh.
No need for lume, so they had instrumentation lighting. So they've survived incredibly well, but they are, despite they're smaller than that, they're literally like 30 millimeters or 32 millimeters.
Yep.
But there's even my bullshit aged eyes can read it because it's got contrast.
Exactly.
I will confess, I have a 34 millimeter Rolex date that I bought, in the mid 80s, and it's legible. I can read it, and it has a champagne dial with gold hands, so it's not like super contrasty, but I can read it. Something happened to style, and that was really the deal. We're going to wind up on this. Couple of comments from Ed about his 925, his silver scooter. He says it does scratch a little bit easier, but they're all scratched up, so it's not too bad. And side by side, silver seems whiter, brighter, not colder. Okay, interesting. Stainless looks dark gray when sitting next to the 925. So the silver would be actually brighter. So that's cool.
Yes. Yep.
Gentlemen, I would like to thank you for having joined us. We entertained hundreds of people during our time here together. Blue Shirt Buddha, it is always a pleasure, and I need to learn from your good nature. And Rancher, you are my doppelganger and my horological, son or daughter. But I'm just glad to share the airwaves with you guys.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for the invite. I appreciate it.
Any last words, boys?
What?
Any last words, Rancher?
No.
All right. How about you, Blue Shirt? When are you broadcasting next?
Not this Saturday, but probably the following Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern.
All right, guys. And I swear I will try and make you a watch review. I've got so many watches that I just have never gotten around to reviewing that I should really talk about. I will try and get to it somewhere in the next, few weeks, but I'm glad
You've been missed, Mark. You've been missed.
Pump this vid out. Well, I missed you guys as well. I'm glad we did this. Take care, everybody.
Later, fellas.